Um, So, okay. So my name is Z Chen. I graduated from Princeton with a PhD in mechanical aerospace engineering. So I founded the Deep Brain Academy. I've been an assistant professor at Dartmouth and Harvard, and my passion is really to educate students to help them become creative thinkers, problem solvers, um, so they can become. Did I get dropped? Hmm. The internet. Can you hear me well?
Yeah,
Okay. I don't know. The internet seems not stable today. Um, let me uh let me switch to our high-speed Wi-Fi. Where's our anyways, let's continue further and see. All right. Um and then also improve your concentration, the focus, and your thinking capability and visualization, imagination, and creativity. Um, so it's great for cultivating creativity because most of the time you'll be seeing a new pattern. So you have to figure out what is your best move given your opponent's best moves, right? So that takes a lot of thinking and creative thinking, especially. You have to apply the principles you've learned, and then based on your experiences, you come up with the most efficient moves, right? And so it's also great for improving working memory. Um, so you have to memorize a lot of patterns in order to find out the best move quickly. And it's very dynamic. And so it's a great challenge because there are so many moves available each time. So how do you find within a few seconds, right, the best move? So that takes a lot of pat training on pattern recognition. So a lot of grandmasters, they can find the best move in just a few seconds. So they don't have a lot of time to do, those calculations. They can, like, it's like an instinct, right? So you cultivate this kind of, so the fundamentally is build up a neural network in the brain that helps you, make quick decisions. So it's also a, active learning process. So when I teach chess, I not only will teach you how to play it, but also why you should play that way. So hopefully, you can understand the principles and then you can come up with your own ways of thinking, your own ways of analyzing. Um, um, and so I hope coming out of this class, you not only learn how to play chess, but also learn how to master something, how to learn something from scratch. And this kind of learning capability can be transferred to your other subject studies like mathematics. Um, I'm going to skip the benefits of adults and seniors because yeah, I mean it's great for also preventing Alzheimer's disease and dementia. Um, all right, so let's start with knowing the figures. Okay, so there are in total six different pieces in chess. the least valued piece is pawn, so you have eight pawns to begin with. So they typically put them. The starting positions are rank or the seventh rank, depending on which side you're on. And can you see my mouse?
Huh?
You can see my mouse, right?
No.
You cannot see my mouse. Oh, okay. Let me draw it then. So this is the second rank. So all the from here, and this is the
I still
seventh.
can't see it.
You cannot see it? Oh, sorry. Yeah. I need to share the screen again. I apologize. You're not. Okay. Now you can see my screen.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Great. So I apologize. So this is the second. Now can you see my mouse?
Yeah.
The second rank and the seventh rank. Okay. Um, so all the pawns, eight pawns starts on the second or seventh, and then they can only move forward. And um, so each time the pawn can move by two. The first move it can move by two steps, or one step forward. But afterwards only one step. So meaning the first time, see, the pawn can jump two steps. Okay, the first time move, but afterwards you can only move by one step. All right, the first move you can only also move one step. So basically, the first move you have two choices for a pawn. Okay, you can go forward one step or two steps, and afterwards you can only move one step each time, and you could only move forward. Okay, that's the only piece that could only move in one direction. Now, when pawn captures, it captures diagonally. It doesn't capture forward. It captures like 45 degrees. You understand? Understand 45 degrees?
Uh-huh.
So it's like imagine the pawn is carrying a sword, right? Two swords around the 45 degrees angle. And when it captures, it can capture, left forward or right forward. Okay. But it cannot capture directly forward. Okay. It can move directly forward. That's pawn. Okay. Let me raise it. Now, this piece looking like a castle, right? So it's called rook. In Chinese, we call it 车. Okay. So in Chinese chess, there's also a 车, right? So it moves in the pretty much the same way. So, um, okay, let me show you. Okay. Well, let's start with the king then. We'll get back to rook. Okay. So king is the most important piece in chess. So your king is everything. So if you lose your king, you lose the game. Okay. So the objective of the game is to capture your opponent's king. So if you capture your opponent's king, then you win. Okay. Now the king moves in the following way. So starting from here, it can move only one step, but in any directions. How many directions are there? In how
8.
many directions? Eight. Yeah, very good. So it has forward, backward, leftward, rightward. That's four directions. And then diagonally, right, it has another four directions. So in total, eight directions. Now, if you trap your opponent's king so that its escape is not possible, meaning even if it escapes, it still will be captured, then that means you win. It's checkmate. Okay, that's called checkmate. Okay. And we'll see an example later. Now, queen is the most powerful piece. Now, queen also can move in all directions. Okay, horizontally, vertically, and diagonally, right? So in how many directions can the queen move?
Um, 8.
Yeah, also eight directions. But the difference is that the queen can actually move any distance. Okay. So like this queen, can you count how many positions it can move into? So horizontally, Okay, let's do it together. How about that? I would do the hobby. So this three here and four here, so it's seven. And then vertically three and four, that's seven. And then diagonally, I'll let you count diagonally.
8.
Uh, well, this along this diagonal is also three plus four, right?
Oh,
Yeah, so it's seven. And then what about this diagonal? Along this diagonal.
14.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So diagonally it's seven plus, wait. So along this diagonal, there's three here. One, two, three, right? And then one, two, three. So it's six along this direction, right? So it's six plus seven. Six diagonal, seven diagonal. What is six plus seven?
13.
13. Very good. Um, so diagonally it's 13, and then horizontal or vertical, how many? This, this direction is seven, and then this vertical is also seven, right? So that's 14. Okay. So queen can control 14 grids. Okay, so queen is the so this is so the position number of positions it can move into, we call it um the positions it controls. So in total is 13 plus 14 is
13 plus what?
13 plus 14. What is it?
27.
27. Very good. Very advanced in math. Okay. So the queen can control 47. Now, king, how many positions does the king control?
14.
No, the king.
Uh, King controls 8.
Eight. Yeah, king controls eight. And queen, the maximum is 13. Is 27, right? And what about bishop? So bishop, um, so you have two bishops to begin with, okay? And bishop only walks diagonally. So you can travel diagonally along any distance. Okay. So let's say this bishop is here. How many positions does it control?
4.
Uh, well, you count this diagonal,
Oh,
how many? And along this diagonal, how many? Right?
oh, 12.
Um, well, so along this diagonal is six, right? And along this diagonal, how many?
Oh, 7.
Yeah. So how many in total?
13.
13. Very good. Now, if this bishop, let's say, if this bishop is in the center, at the corner, right? If the bishop moves to the corner, now how many positions does it control?
6. I mean, 13.
Well, so if it's here, let me erase everything. If the bishop is here, it can only move along this diagonal, right? Can you see that? If the bishop moves to the corner, now how many positions does it control? One, two, three, four, five,
8.
6, 7, right? It doesn't, so the position it controls does not include its current position, okay? So it's the number of positions it can move into. Um, okay, okay. Does that make sense? So you can see that um, um, so the number of positions a bishop can control depends on its location, right? So it's at the center, when it's at the center, it controls 13, right? It's 6 plus 7. And when it's at the corner, it only controls 7, right? So it's limited. And that's why we want to, move our bishop towards the center so they can control more positions. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
The more positions it can control, the more powerful it is. Okay. And that's why queen is so much more powerful. Now, do you know how much each piece is worth?
No.
Okay, so let's say the pawn is worth 1 point as a reference. Okay. So pawn is 1 point. Now, bishop is 3 points. Okay. And the queen is 9 points. Okay. That's the quantitative value. So you can see that by considering the number of positions it controls, right? For example, if we take a look at the pawn, right? So the pawn can move each time it can move 1 step or 2 step. Now let's say it moves 1 step. Now this pawn can control how many positions?
Uh, one. I mean two.
Two, yeah. Remember, it attacks diagonally, and it only attacks the adjacent diagonal position, right? So that means it attacks, um, just these two positions, and um, and it's worth 1 point. Okay, the pawn. Now the bishop, if you recall, the bishop it controls between 7 and 13 positions, and that's more. That's why it's more powerful. And it's worth 3 points. Okay. And how does a knight move? So a knight moves in the following way. It moves 2 steps in one direction. Like for example, the knight is here, right? It can move 2 step, 1, 2, and then it will make a turn. Okay. So it will land here. So in Chinese, it's like a 日子. Okay. So this
Uh,
is like a, yeah, 日子. Okay. So it goes from one vertex to the other vertex, okay, of this rectangle, 2 by 1 rectangle. And it always moves in 3 steps. And so as you probably noticed, there are light square and dark square, right? So if the knight starts from a light square, moves 2, 3 steps, it always lands in a dark square, okay? Now it can also move 2, 1, and go into this position, okay? Now it can also move in this direction first and then make a turn, left or right turn, right? And so how many positions in total can a knight move into? Can you count?
10.
Huh?
10.
10? Well, count again. You're
I,
close. You're close, but you might have overcounted. Count again.
4.
4? No, it's more than that. Uh, how many? So think about it. The first step, it can move in all 4 directions, right?
Mhm.
And then the second step, so in four directions afterwards, it can move left or right. So the second movement, it has two directions. So in
Mhm.
total, it should be okay. So like for example, we said that the first direction, if it goes downward, so it can go left or right, the two. Okay. It can also go upward and then left or right. And that's another two, right? Leftward first, two steps, and then left or right, two. Or you can go rightward and then up and down. Okay.
Okay.
That's in total should be, you can count how many positions?
8.
Eight, very good. So, right? And now that's when the knight is in the center. But if the knight, let's say, is in the corner, if the knight starts at corner, how many positions does it control? Well, how many positions can it jump into?
3.
Three? Well, let's count together, okay? So it can move horizontally and then up, right? That's one. But it cannot move down because it's hits the edge.
Oh,
We can move up two steps and then take right here, but it cannot make a left turn. Um, so it's two positions. Does that make sense? So a
mm,
knight can only control two positions when um it's at corner. So depending on where it is, it controls different. Does that make sense? So it between two and eight positions. That's the knight. And how many points is knight worth? It was about the same as the bishop, so it's 3 points. Okay. Um, okay. Any questions about how the knight moves?
no.
Okay. Um, and the rook, how does the rook move? Well, we talk um
Horizontally and vertically.
mhm. So rook moves horizontally, it can move in any distance, or vertically it moves any distance. Um, okay. So how many positions does it control?
16.
Sorry, how many?
16.
15?
No,
Well, that's
16.
not including its current position. So horizontally, how many?
9.
Nine. Okay. Well, it's not nine. Count it again. Okay. Do you know how many positions in total there are each row? This is eight. Okay. 8 by 8. So the chessboard is 8 by 8. Okay. So horizontally, in total, there are eight, and if you exclude one position, that's seven. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. So horizontally, it has seven positions, and vertically, how many does it control?
7.
Okay. So how in total, how many?
15.
7 plus 7, right?
14.
Yeah, 14. Yeah. So rook controls 14. And do you remember the knight controls how many? Rook is 7 plus 7. Okay. And okay, if the rook is in the center, how many does it control? If it's in the center, how many positions does it control? Can you count?
No.
Oh, so my question was, if the rook is located here, how many positions can it move to? So you first count horizontally, like it can move here, here, right? And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So on this row, it controls 7. You can also think about it. In total, there are 8, and you exclude this one. So 8 minus 1 is 7. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Now, vertically, how many positions does it control?
7.
How many does it control vertically?
7.
It's also 7. Yeah, very good. So in total, how many does it control?
14.
14. So rook always controls 14, right? It's very stable. Its performance is very stable and it's very powerful. Okay. As compared to knight, knight is between 2 and 8. Okay. Knight is 2 or 8. I don't know what's going on with my pad. So that's why knight is only worth 3 points, but rook is worth 5 points. Okay. Rook is worth 5 points. Okay. Now we talk about the pawn, we talk about rook, knight, 3 points, and bishop. Bishop is also 3 points. Okay. Is also 3 points. Now, bishop controls 7 positions or, you know, all the way to 13 positions. That's why it's more powerful. However, there is a drawback of the bishop. So you notice if the bishop starts in a dark square, right? It only controls the dark squares. That makes sense? It can
Uh-huh.
never go into a light squares. Now you have two bishops. One starts from a dark square and the other starts from a light square, right? So, um, and they never meet each other. Okay. Um, so that's a drawback of the bishop, um, is it can only control one color grids. Okay. That's why, it's only worth 3 points. Whereas a knight can go into all colors, right? So a knight starts from a light square, it can jump to dark square, and it can jump back into light square. It can jump back to dark square. So that means, if you have a knight, you can visit all the positions on the board. Whereas if you have a bishop, then the bishop cannot visit all the positions. Each bishop, like if you start from a light square, it always stays in light square. You can only visit one half of the board. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's say if your opponent has a bishop left and a king, and you only have a king left, is your opponent going to be able to checkmate you? If your opponent has one more bishop than you, okay, you both have a king left, and then he has an extra bishop. is he gonna checkmate you? Well,
Yes.
think about it. Huh?
Yes.
Yes. Well, think about it. If you, let's say he has a light square bishop left, and you can just keep your king in dark squares, then his bishop is never gonna hit you. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
So his bishop is never gonna hurt you if you stay on the dark square. So that means he can never checkmate you. So it should be a draw when your opponent cannot checkmate you. Okay? So that means an extra is not enough to checkmate. Um, because bishop only visit half of the positions. Now, let's watch a an example of a game. So here's an example of a game. Okay. So in this game, why start with this pawn? Jump two positions. Yeah. See, you can see capture, capture. Can you see that? And
Mm.
queen captures. So whenever you can move into a position, you can capture it. Okay, let's watch again. Yeah. So capture and then you capture. This is called trade, equal trade. Okay. And here is I don't know whether you've seen it. Okay, let's watch this one. So capture and capture. Okay. Can you see that?
Uh-huh.
So this queen was captured. Okay. Um, okay. So let's see. I can, yeah. This is a variant of a chess. It's called fog of war. It's pretty fun. So um so in fog of war chess, I mean all the pieces move in the same way, but um you cannot see all your opponent's pieces. So in regular chess you can see all your opponent's pieces, but in fog of war you cannot. Now you can only see the pieces where you can move into. So here's a guy playing fog of war chess for the first time. I'm gonna show you. Let me see if I can share the sound so you can hear it. Where's the sound? Oh, share computer sound. Okay. Okay. Start playing.
Let's play some fog of war
Can you hear it?
chess. Okay, I'm just gonna move my pawn there. Okay, it's all windy. Hey, there's a pawn there. Okay, we're playing Wait, what? Where did my pawn go? Okay, let's go there. What is going on? Where are my pieces? What? Okay,
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
we'll go
Okay.
there. Oh, you're kidding. What? This is impossible. Okay, let's go there. Pressure on and... Where is my bishop gone? Oh my goodness. We're fine as wine. Where's my knight gone? It just disappears. Please, please. What? Okay, we can take a bishop. Where are my pieces going? They're just turning invisible. Please let me... Wait, where's the bishop gone? Okay, there's the bishop. Finally, I can see it. Okay, there we go. We've got the bishop. Oh, yes! No! I'm just down to stupid pawns. What did I... Oh, no, I lost! Oh, for goodness sake!
Okay. So he played Fog of War for the first time, so he probably didn't understand all the rules. So basically where you can move into, you can see the positions, right? So it actually is a lot of fun and it challenges the mind to make decisions based on incomplete information. And that's one reason why Fog of War chess right now there's not still not very good AI. So in regular chess, human champions in very easily. Um, yeah, so in the future, as you understand more about the regular chess, we're also gonna teach you how to play the strategies in Fog chess. Um, Okay, so today we're probably going to just skip this part, but the point of learning chess and fuckable chess is that you can cultivate this AI way of thinking. Okay, so it can significantly helps you improve your decision making strategies and planning, and and it can also apply in real world scenarios like in business, investment, and even in mathematics. And there's also a Fog championship every year. So I attended the Fog championship last year, just a month ago, and so I was ranked number 4 in one of the qualifying round. Um, so I have defeated masters and grandmasters on Fog chess. Now today, that's in the rest of the time, we're going to I'm going to show you what it's like playing online. Okay.
I
So
can't see you play.
yeah, let me share a screen with you. Okay. Can you see my screen?
No.
Okay. So you can register for free on chess.com or Lichess. Okay. These are two platforms. Okay, let's say Lichess. Lichess is completely free. Chess.com, I mean, it's free to the extent that, if you don't use some of the premium features, you do, then you have to pay. Okay. So this is let me see if I can show you one of my games, maybe. Um Wait, where's my okay, okay. You can see my screen, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, so okay, maybe we'll just start a game. We don't have to finish it. I'm gonna start a game and see. I can go to lobby and see if there's anybody. Oh, see? So the first move I can go 2 steps. And then so he goes here. So I can go here. So my idea is that I wanna oh okay. So now I can capture him. Right. Makes sense?
Uh-huh.
And then I want to go 2 steps to challenge this bishop, this pawn, and I can capture that pawn. And I can capture it. Oh, he does that. And I'm going to do this. So now my knight is threatening his his queen. Now he used his bishop to here. So okay, can you see this diagonal? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So my knight is attacking his queen. But my knight cannot capture his queen right now because if I jump the knight away, then my king will be lost. His bishop is attacking on my king, right? So this is called pinned. So my knight is pinned right now. I can move the knight away. Okay, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's a pretty tough position right now. So maybe what I could do actually is I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna check. You see, this is check.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm checking on his king because okay. So I was trying to attack his bishop as well, but he used the knight to protect the bishop because this knight is protecting the bishop right now. Um, so what can I do? Well, I can probably do this. I I can capture his pawn. Oh, now he's checking. His queen is checking my bitch, my king. Oh, this is actually not a very good position for me because he can very dangerous position. Maybe I will just I don't know, jump here. See what he does. If he's smart, he can actually capture my knight. Yeah, this is a pretty bad position for me. Um, because he now can fork me. So this is called forking, okay? So his queen is attacking both my king and my rook. Can you see that?
Mhm.
So his queen is attacking both. And now it's very difficult for me to save both. Yeah. So he played pretty well this game. This is a very strong player. So what I can do, yeah, it's pretty tough from here. Maybe I'll just jump here. Yeah, this is tough. Okay, so he traded with me. Okay, so this is called castling. Okay, maybe I'll just this is an important rule that I want to also teach you about. Uh, let's go to, I'm gonna just resign here. Where's the, okay. Wait, where is the, oh, I want to go to the board. Tools, yeah. Analysis board, maybe. Okay, let me just go here. Okay, so here, let me show you. So the first move, right? You can jump 2 steps, and then your opponent can also jump 2 steps. Okay. Now let's say, um, okay, so this is the best move, and usually we will consider, okay, all these pieces on the back rank, they are sleeping right now. Okay, but by moving this pawn ahead, I'm actually waking up this guy. So now this bishop can go out. Okay, so previously, like in this bishop cannot go out, right? This diagonal is blocked by its own pawn. Can you see that?
Mhm.
So when I click on my bishop, um, it has nowhere to go. But after this, right, then my bishop can go out. So if I click on my bishop, when I click on my bishop, these are all the positions I can go into. Make sense? Now it's
Mhm.
like I wake up this bishop. Now it can go out. Now, same thing here. This queen now is also woken up. You can also move out diagonal. So that's why this move is very powerful because it first controls these 2 positions, right? So if
Mhm.
your opponent moves here, you can capture it. You can capture it, right? And second, it also wakes up your bishop and the queen. Okay. So usually we would like to make a move that has multiple purposes. So this is one example. So when you make one move, it has multiple functions. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And and same thing here. So when your opponent jumps 2 steps ahead, it controls these 2 positions, right? And it also wakes up the bishop. So now this bishop can come out all the way, and this queen can also come out all the way. Okay? So it has multiple purposes. Now, afterwards, usually we will consider moving the knight out first. So the knight can move into these 3 positions. Now, which one's the best?
Uh,
So usually jumping towards the center will be the best. So this will be jumping to the center, right? Because in the center, like in the future, you can jump into a lot of positions. You can jump into this position, that position, right? So it's basically attacking on this pawn right now. And you can jump to here, you can jump to here, right? A lot of positions. It controls 8 positions when it's in the center. Whereas if you jump to here, right, it blocks your bishop. So your bishop cannot come out now. Previously, your bishop can come out. Now it's blocked. So that's not a good position. And if you jump here, that's also not a very good position because you can only jump into 1, 2, 3, 4. So you only control 4 positions. Okay. So usually knights is, on the border is not very good. So we want to jump the knight towards the center. Okay. So this is typically the best position for a knight. And plus it's also attacking on this pawn, your opponent's pawn. Okay. So it has multiple purposes. And now this pawn is under attack. So if your opponent doesn't do anything next, you can capture it. Now, how could your opponents protect it?
uh,
How could your opponent Well, there are different ways to protect it. You can jump the pawn here, pawn here, but those are actually not very good. Like for example, if your opponent moves the pawn here, right? Why is not good? Look at this bishop. This bishop is blocked, right? So before you move, this bishop can actually come out. But after this move, it cannot. It can only move here. You see that? And same thing. If you move this pawn, it's even worse. Now your queen cannot come out. It's blocked. Okay? And this is worse because now I can even capture this pawn. Because even if you capture this knight, I can go queen here to check. So this is a check. This is what we call the 傻瓜斜线, so a fool's diagonal. Because now it's very difficult for you to you know protect the king. So either you have to move the king, or let's say if you say someone said you can move the pawn to block this attack. Okay, I mean it is blocking this attack. However, the queen can move. Like why should the queen move? Queen move. You see that?
mm,
It can actually move here. Check. You see that? It's
Mhm.
check and it's also doing something else. Can you figure out? So let's say if so the king moves or it can move bishop to block. Okay, there are different ways. Or it can move the queen to block. Okay. There are different ways. Let's say it moves the bishop to block. Okay. Now what? Where can the queen go?
Here.
Yeah. See, the queen can capture the rook. You see that? It's aiming at the rook. So the queen can capture the rook for free. And it's also attacking on this knight. Can you see that?
Mhm.
Yeah. So even if we sacrifice a knight, remember, we sacrifice the knight, but now I captured a rook. Knight is worth 3 points, and rook is worth 5 points. Okay? Yeah. So I think that's good for today. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, okay. So yeah, I'd be if you're interested in continuing your lesson, you can let your parents know, and then we'll be in contact. Your parents should have our contact information. Um, there's a registration link on the poster. Yeah. Okay, great to have you. Hope to see you again.
Okay.
And we're going to have a math class in at 11. You're welcome to join us as well. Maybe I'll say just a few let's do another. There's one more thing I want to show you. It's castling. This is pretty cool as well. So let's say your opponent's now okay, and then so to castle, you need to move the bishop out. So now between the king and the rook, there's nothing, right? Can you see that? So these two are empty. Um, and let's say your opponents make a move. Okay, doesn't matter. Now you can move. So in castling, you can actually move two pieces at once. Okay, so you can move the king here, and then the rook would jump over the king. Okay, so this is called castling. Castling is very powerful because you can move two pieces at the same time, and then it moves your king to safety place, and then it also moves the rook outside. Okay. Usually this rook is confined in the corner. It's not very good for it to control positions. Rook is very powerful, but it's limited usage, the corner. But after castling, rook can quickly move to the center, and then it can aim at this line, you know. It becomes much more powerful. So this is called castling. Okay. We're gonna talk more about this in the future. Just so you know, this is a very special move in chess that you can move two pieces at the same time. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, very nice meeting you. I hope to see you again. Okay. Bye.
Bye.